Welcome to Studio A. Our guest today is Mr. Samuel Young II, Director of the Group Scholars Program, Bloomington, Indiana. Welcome to the studio, Sam.
Thank you for having me.
I am absolutely thrilled that you were able to come in. This is a joy for me,
Great.
and I know it'll be great for our audience.
Sure.
Let's get into it. Where are you from, my friend?
So I was born in Decatur, Illinois, and moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana in 1978.
What?
Right before the big old flood situations, and my father had passed away, and my mother was needing some support, and my grandfather, Reverend G.H. Williams, pastor of New Hope Church of God here, and was part of the Ministerial Alliance. He just said, come to Fort Wayne. And so we all packed up and moved to Fort Wayne. And
Your grandfather being your mother's father?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
So your mother was originally from Fort Wayne?
No, we were transplants.
Okay.
From the South. My
Okay,
mother's from Philadelphia, Mississippi,
Okay.
and by way of Macon, Georgia, and
Okay.
then he was around several different places, and finally landed in Fort Wayne.
Settled in Fort Wayne,
preaching
preaching.
initially at McKee Street Church of God, and now
Okay.
and then at New Hope Church of God by the time we got here.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So your grandfather said, baby, come here.
come back, and we'll take care. We'll set you up, and it was a good time. It was a good time for us to be out of Decatur, Illinois. So the transition was as smooth to be experienced. So it was good.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So we'll get back to you being probably raised in the church.
Right.
We'll talk about that, but let's talk about where you went to high school.
Went to the only high school in Fort Wayne, Fort Wayne Southside High School. Graduated in 1987. Yeah. So just had a great experience at Southside. Was very active in athletics and sports. And
What did you play besides football?
well, I wrestled and
Did you?
I threw the shot put. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes. I even went to state in wrestling my
Wow.
senior year.
Wow.
Didn't do much, but just went to watch. No, I was there.
Okay.
Right.
And then you went off to Bloomington
IU
for
Bloomington,
college.
part of the Group Scholars Program.
Okay.
In 1987.
Okay.
Our director back then was Laverta Terry.
Uh-huh.
And everybody was scared of her because she had such a stature, a presence.
Yeah.
And we said, I know I'm not going to be able to talk to her because if she talks to us, we're about to go home anyway. So tried our best to not disappoint, and worked hard and got some skills and leadership and made my way out of Bloomington in 1993.
All right. What did you major in?
So interestingly enough, I majored in general studies with a minors in criminal justice and sociology.
What did you plan on doing with that degree?
The funny thing was, when I went to college, I wanted to be an FBI agent.
Really?
Yeah, criminal justice. I thought this would be the great opportunity for me, but God had a different plan for me altogether. While at IU, I was in a lot of student affairs roles as an RA. I was an RA for groups and even a supervisor for groups. Was an RA in Briscoe Hall, and then eventually in Wright Hall before I left. Then my first job was at the University of Missouri in Columbia, Missouri.
Really?
Yes,
What
as
were
a
you doing there?
hall coordinator. A hall coordinator for a all-women's hall across the street from Greek Row. So
Okay.
that was a very
Challenging?
It was an interesting experience.
Interesting.
I would say challenging to the fact that I knew I was there by myself. I was in Missouri, and I felt like that was an opportunity for me to grow and develop.
Okay,
Mature,
so you were away from your family.
Away from family.
Was that the first time
outside of Indiana? Yes.
Yeah.
As a professional, as a grown man.
Yeah.
So paying bills, paying student loans, and just learning how to be a man.
Okay.
And had that experience, and then eventually I gravitated to the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana.
Okay.
Doing the same type of work in residence halls. and just learning how to be an advisor, a supervisor, and then some health issues with my mom, and eventually allowed me to make some decisions and know that family is important. So I moved back to Fort Wayne and changed career paths.
What did you do?
Worked in Child Protective Services.
Okay.
So worked as a case manager did investigations. I just worked around until in the social service areas, nonprofit area.
Okay.
Just trying to cut my teeth and just develop my skill set.
Yeah.
As a supervisor and as a leader, worked with in probations for a little bit, and then worked in nonprofit and then eventually worked at the YMCA.
Okay.
As a youth and family coordinator.
Okay.
Still wanting to do programs and create. Matter of fact, during that same time, we created the New Life nonprofit organization, umbrella of New Life Church of God.
Okay.
So we could do some community work. So doing a lot of
So you
community
partnered.
Yes.
Okay.
So doing a lot of community work, and then realized that I needed to get a master's degree.
Okay.
And so I was
Where did you get your master's
from
degree
Indiana Institute of Technology,
Okay.
Indiana Tech,
And what did you?
student masters in organizational leadership.
Okay.
So just to really understand why I'm the type of supervisor I am, I think that
Okay.
really helped me understand. Hey, I'm a supervisor. This is how I supervise. This is how I like to lead, and it gave me opportunities to understand what organizations were, and it really moved me a little further.
Okay.
Once I got a degree, I said, okay, Lord, I'm ready for my last job. But that was a funny thing. But I worked at the Parks and Rec, and at that time opened up the McMillan Park Community Center.
Okay.
So that was really fun for me
Okay.
to be able to be an impactful community partner, being able to work in my own community, and as my children grew of age and middle school, high school, elementary school. Yeah, they were in elementary school. So it was an opportunity for them to be engaged with the community and just learn and develop. So that was fun as well.
Okay. And your lovely wife, Lisa.
Yes, married in 1999, but knew her since 1988.
My goodness.
Yes. So I finally made a decision sometime between 88 and 99 that she was going to be my wife. And
Lisa knew that you were going to be her husband, though.
well, we all had some doubts in the middle of that. So yeah. But eventually, we ended up, while I was working at the University of Illinois, she also had a job at the University of Illinois. She was finishing up her master's degree in higher ed.
Okay.
And so she actually landed there first, and then I got the job the next week, and we started working, and throughout the time there, we knew something was going to happen, but we didn't know what was going to happen.
Okay.
And then it took for us to be separated to realize that we really wanted to be together.
Wanted to be together.
Yeah.
Wow. So you have two children.
Two beautiful children.
Beautiful Naomi and sweet Samuel,
Yes,
the third.
The third. So my daughter we just celebrated her birthday last week.
Really?
23 years old. We're so proud of her.
Goodness.
She is currently a master's degree student at Indiana University Bloomington.
Okay.
Getting her master's degree in higher education.
Okay.
So I guess it rubbed off on her.
Yeah.
Living and seeing how her mother and I work.
Yeah.
And my beautiful son, he is a what is it called? The redshirt sophomore at Central State University playing football.
Where's Central State?
Central State is in Xenia, Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a historical black college and university,
Okay.
HBCU, and he's actually in Savannah, Georgia, playing Savannah State this week. So tomorrow, so I know he's doing well there. We're really proud of him.
Yeah.
And all his accomplishments that he's doing.
Yeah.
He's a little bit bigger than me, a little stronger than me, but I still got that eye, and I can still drop him with the look.
So let's talk about, so we talked about you being here in Fort Wayne. Let's talk about you going back to Bloomington.
Sure.
Well, we left off with McMillan. That's
Yeah.
where we left off.
So we
with.
left off with McMillan.
So what did you do after that?
So I ended up talking to my mentor, Bruce Jacobs.
Oh, I love Bruce Jacobs.
Yes, he was actually retiring, and I went down to his retirement a celebration, and matter of fact, his picture is now in the Union.
Is it?
Oh yeah. So he's a big wig down there.
Yeah.
So we were talking afterwards, and he was saying, "Why don't you come back?" And I said, "Well, what kind of job would I do here?" And he really flatly, even the opportunities at Missouri and Illinois, he just said, "Sam, you can do any job that you want." It's just the fact that he was one who really had faith in me and belief that I could do anything that I wanted to do. He introduced me to the current director
Of the Group Scholars
Program at the time, Mary Stephenson. And lo and behold, a couple of months later, I got a call because I put my application in. I got a call and said, "Hey, we'd like for you to interview." I didn't know that they had a failed search for an associate director.
Okay.
So I just went down one day. I interviewed with the team there and came back and just kept working at McMillan. Got a call and got an offer to be the associate director. You know, groups has been one of those places where I found home and solace sometimes, and family. So that was really something I knew I would love to do. So as an associate director, I was responsible for all the large programs, recruitment and retention. So the retention piece, I supervised 8 academic advisors and a full-time tutor, and some graduate students. So just doing all of that, and
you really got your feet wet.
Oh yeah, all my skill set that I had learned, now applying it to what the university mission and goals were for the Group Scholars Program.
Okay.
And then about 2 years ago, my director said, "I got a job promotion at Baylor and I'm recommending you to be the director." Had a conversation with the vice president for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And he suggested that I do it, and I said, "I'm ready to do it." I gave him some thoughts of what I would like to see and some pieces of it, and he initially put me in as interim, and then from there as the director of the Group Scholars Program.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you,
Sure.
How has the Groups program changed from when you attended in '87 to now? What's the big difference?
So in the hundreds, I call the 1900s the hundreds. It was really an admissions program. It was a trio program to bring diversity to Indiana University.
Okay.
Started in 1968 and really pushed on, even surpassed me. Then when Director Janice Wiggins came in.
The lovely Mrs. Wiggins.
Yes. She had a vision to make it more scholarly. So she instead of Groups Support Services, she recreated the name as a Group Scholars.
Okay.
And was having a 1-year scholarship. Well, in 2015, the work had already been done with Director Mary Stephenson to create a 4-year need-based scholarship program.
Okay.
So we review applications and admit cohorts between 350 and 400 students every year.
My goodness.
And we stay with our students through academic advisement and support until they graduate.
Okay.
Excuse me. So we're really intrusive advising model so that we can appreciate where they are and appreciate where they want to go and support them through that journey.
Through that whole time.
Yeah.
What is the greatest misconception about the Group Scholars Program?
Well, for some students,
or the Groups program, as it was known.
Well, the Groups program, Group Scholars, I think overall, some people believe we just are a summer program, a summer camp, to be exact, and it's not.
Because they do go down
They
early.
we always start through our summer experience program
Okay.
in the summer, and even
And that's
that.
to give them groundwork footing to be in the college environment, because many students haven't been in a collegiate environment.
Sure, but we found out over the years that students are being more prepared to enter a college experience with a lot of AP and IPE and college classes that they take while they're in high school. I think even for first generation low limited income students that we serve now, I think we just have to make sure they know the services and the support throughout. And that's our task for that summer experience program. Well, even the classwork was different. When we were down there, it was more of a deficit model. We was just trying to get some mediation and try to teach you how to do classes and how to take notes. But now what we're providing for students are 2 general education courses that will count towards graduation.
Oh, okay.
And we really push them. We have different things now. We have expectations. If they don't receive a 2.0 during the summer, then that's not part. They won't be part of the Group Scholars Program.
Okay.
So we have expectations, and they have expectations of us. We're going to pay full tuition, room and board, and services throughout for the summer. And their expectation is to get that GPA and move on, and then even
During
while
the
they
regular academic year.
even while they move on during the regular academic year throughout until they graduate, we still have expectations to still see them, to still be involved. I mean, you and I was down there doing a resume was something that you did your junior, senior year.
Right.
Now we're starting that move to prepare them for their career, their freshman year. We have a first year experience class for fall and spring semester, their first year, where we help them and engage them with other stakeholders that's on campus and in our community, so they are prepared, like career services,
Okay.
financial aid,
Okay.
student care, student affairs, and student care. So if they need anything else outside, so now their financial aid is supporting them a little bit more without the loans.
Okay.
Because our package was more full of loans outside of the Pell and the
Right.
Bannon grant. So
Right.
it was full of loans.
Right.
Now we're providing a need-based scholarship package for them
So
based
they're
off
not
their
coming
need.
out of college in debt.
In debt. Well,
Right.
and if it was, very little debt.
Very little debt. Very
Right.
little debt. That's incredible. That's an incredible change.
Yeah.
An incredible shift.
With the support of 21st Century Scholars Program and the group's grant, we really are servicing those 350, 400 students for 4 years,
Yeah.
8 semesters of
Yeah.
college. And I think that's admirable to all those political folks that give us the money, and we see a great return because they're coming back into our communities. Now, there are some that will come out and leave Indiana, but most of our students stay in Indiana and really engage with their own community and give back to their community.
Now, the students mainly come from what environments?
So, thank you. So that's a difference too. So, in the hundreds, schools were identified in most urban cities. So Gary, South Bend, Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, Richmond, Evansville, Terre Haute, those cities, and then the schools were identified and given certain number of slots depending on their size.
Right.
Now we have a full open application throughout the state of Indiana. So the requirement is that you meet the need and you graduate from an Indiana high school.
And you're recommended by?
By a recommender. So a recommender can be a counselor in your high school or a community group that works with high school students.
Okay.
So it's we hit a lot of counties,
Okay.
even rural and urban.
All right.
And so we our mix of low limited first generation college students. We still have diversity in there.
Okay.
But we are touching a lot more communities now.
Okay. And that's got to be a great benefit.
I think it is for Indiana and for Indiana University.
Okay, all right. And let's talk about what your lovely wife Lisa does.
So Lisa's currently the associate director in IU Housing that addresses student conduct and care
Okay.
for all the residence halls. So her primary responsibility is conduct and care for students that live in the residence halls.
How has that changed from when you were in college?
So conduct and care has always been around. It just depends on who is pushing that envelope and responsible. It has now morphed back into the student life. So Res Life is now into student affairs.
Okay.
So the vice president of student affairs, vice provost for student affairs, is the umbrella that it's housed under now. So I think it's pretty much the same.
Okay.
But now with some new nuances that are different. She's still being supervised with I believe Office of Student Affairs and also IU Housing.
Okay.
So yeah.
How does Miss Lisa like being back in Bloomington?
I think she likes the peacefulness of Bloomington. Bloomington is still small
And charming.
and still charming. I never going there. Never believed I was going to be back in the. Okay, this is my home now.
Yeah.
But we bought a home a couple years ago. We were in an apartment for a very long time and just made the decision to buy a home right before my son graduated from high school. And I said, man, I guess we're here.
We really live here now.
Yeah, we really live here. So
Okay.
so yeah.
I told you off camera that you and Lisa remind me of Mr. and Mrs. Wiggins,
Yes.
who I simply adored both of them. Mr. Wiggins, Dr. Wiggins has passed,
Right.
but Mrs. Wiggins is still alive and kicking and doing it well.
And doing it well.
Fabulous.
And it's ironic now as the director, we have our conversations of trying to glean stuff from and understand the history.
She imparts wisdom to you.
Absolutely, in regards to how the program evolved and some of the challenges that she had. We're recognizing they're still the same challenges that I have.
Really?
So we are pushing. We're still pushing the envelope to make sure our students are supported.
Okay.
On campus and off campus.
Okay, all right. And let's talk about how faith informs your life. We know that you shared,
Yes.
which is how we know, but you shared that your grandfather was a minister.
Yes.
So you grew up in the church.
New Hope Church of God on the corner of Maumee and Compare It.
Okay.
And it was a very close-knit family church, stemmed from McKee Street Church of God, and we were there 4 to 5 days a week. But
Wow.
Yeah. When you are
Your second home.
yeah, and you had to, and then when in school, he was the director for Operation Breadbasket
Okay.
in the 80s. And as a person that was director of Operation Breadbasket, we would leave the church and school and then go to Operation Breadbasket. And not knowing that it would prepare me to do more community work and understand community and understand relationships.
In the broader sense.
Right. It allowed me to see how it worked.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, it's ironic. Getting in high school, I had more friends because I was going there from a different part of town than where it was located.
Okay.
So the African American Museum.
Yeah.
Is where Operation Breadbasket used to be.
Okay.
So in that building.
All right.
So we called the Learning Academy.
All right.
And so we would feed students an after school meal, work on homework and work on different content and concepts. So, and then would play and just be able to be a neighborhood resource for them.
Okay.
But I wasn't in the neighborhood, but But eventually from high schools, you would see people that you would associate yourself with during those times, and it was just like coming back home. You're like, hey, I know him. Although he went to Northside or Wayne or Elmhurst, it was still fun to know people all throughout Fort
The
Wayne.
city.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how does faith inform your life, Sam?
I think as someone who's a child of God and saved, it's important to trust how God directs your path. You know, it's important to slow down and to hear and as my
Hear
mom
the voice of God?
Yeah.
And how do you hear the voice of God?
I think it's in your actions and in what my mother would say. You would write down what you are asking and make it plain so God would see it, and just meditate on that and be able to move when that happens. And it's worked. I know God is real, and I know the whole opportunity of how God shows himself throughout you know your life is all different. You know, the job in Missouri, I had several different opportunities to apply during that time, and I just said, God, wherever you want me to go, you'll show me by proving this.
Make it plain.
Make it plain. And he did by creating a pathway for me to be there, even as a bachelor degree recipient, where most people would have to have master's degree.
Okay.
So that was the opportunity.
And you knew that was the hand of God.
That was the hand of God.
Nothing but the hand
Nothing.
of God.
My degree is nothing but the hand of God. Me moving to Bloomington, nothing but the hand of God. Me seeing my mother that was legally blind and now healed, nothing but the hand of God. And when me and my mother got our driver's license at the same time, nothing but the hand of God that I allowed her to drive me around. But it, and my friends growing up, the Reeses and the Mabels would be like, man, your mother can't see, and why is she driving? I'm like, hey man, she was healed and she now can see.
Okay.
So it was those things
that make you believe.
Oh yeah,
that make
absolutely.
a believer out of you.
Absolutely.
Make a believer out of you. Wow. Well, we will pick up with your family during the second part of our interview.
Okay.
This is the end of part 1 of the interview with Mr. Samuel Young II. We will be back for part 2, and you be blessed.